Welcome to Manhwa Recaps, spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. Huge shout out, and a special thanks to my Patreon and channel members. The series starts with a castle being attacked at night as we see dead demons strewn out all along the floor. One of them is on his knees calling out to another demon named Lavis Vindica, calling him an absolute monster, asking if he really thinks he'll get away with a massacre like this. Lavis asks if he wasn't supposed to figure out what they have been doing here at House Hilt. As this isn't a massacre, this is an execution being carried out by House Vindica. He raises his hand before thrusting down, killing the other demon. Some time later we see him in chains as a man calling him foolish for doing such a thing. He ordered him to find evidence of treason, not to exterminate an entire family, and that he, a Vindica, has disrupted the order of the demon realm, and he's gone too far this time. This is the Demon King, also his father, named Gamadair. Lavis asks what he's talking about as the evidence is everywhere. He knows as well as he does that those Hilt bastards were hopeless, and because of those geezers clinging to House Hilt, they couldn't punish them even with proof. He tells him to think about how many crimes they got away with. It's obvious they were colluding. His father says there is a proper procedure for enforcement, and that procedure does not require his petty judgment. Lavis tells him not to make him laugh, as darkness is swallowed by an even deeper darkness, and that's the law of survival in the demon realm. His father stares at him, and Lavis says that if he can't even swallow a darkness as obvious as this, how can House Vindica call itself the ruler of this realm, as he knows that the order of the demon realm itself is being toyed with by the nobles. His father says he has such short-sightedness, and he truly is a fool. Lavis says that House Vindica can only survive if House Hilt is destroyed. They were committing all of those crimes just to take the throne, and that's why he sent him as an investigator. Instead of those cowards hiding behind House Hilt, and turning a blind eye to order. His father continues staring at him before sighing, then tells him there is no reasoning with him, and that he and the 12 black seats have already decided on his punishment, and that for the crime of violating demonic law, and massacring House Hilt, he shall be banished to the human realm. Lavis looks surprised, telling his father he cannot be serious, and his father tells him that he will pay for his crimes in the human realm where his powers will be sealed, and he can learn the true dignity of a Vindica. Lavis yells, telling him to wait, as he may have killed the Hilt members, but he didn't destroy their souls. His father asks the 12 black seats what they are standing around for, as they need to carry out his sentence at once. Lavis tells him that he won't accept this as he did nothing wrong. The members also are preparing a magic spell, and one of them puts their hand on his face, telling them to have a wonderful time, and that they will take care of things while he is gone. Lavis realizes that he is working for House Hilt, and as we see his eye burning, he begins to let out a scream. We learn that he is forced to descend into the human realm, and the rules of the human realm are: 1. He has to live faithfully as the host body he inhabits. 2. He must not take his own life until his natural lifespan ends. 3. He must not kill any humans. Violation of these rules will result in soul annihilation. He wakes up screaming, and starts gasping for air. He looks down at his hands, and they start shaking because they are human, and he grits his teeth out of frustration, saying that he can't believe he really became a human, and it's all because of that bastard Bamba for screwing him over. When he gets back he's going to pull his horns out first thing, but he wonders why this human body hurts so much. He stands up asking if this is the pathetic body he's really been given, and that those Hilt punks are useless to the very end. It's even hard for him to breathe here because there's no sulfur nearby. A woman enters wondering what that sound was, and calls out to her brother. Lavis turns, and she starts crying, asking if he's finally awake, and hugs him, saying that she thought he would never wake up. He says that this must be the body's sibling. When he looks up, another woman is surprised to see him, and we learn that his name is Minnow. She begins crying as well, thanking him for waking up as he must have been in such pain. Lavis wonders what's going on, and what he's meant to do in this situation. As they say, human relationships are one of the 3 great hells, so he doesn't know if he can survive here. The other woman from earlier was his mother, as his father enters asking if he's finally up. She tells him that Minnow has just awoken, and his father stares at him. Lavis stares back, and his dad tells him to snap out of it, and go to school tomorrow, as he's been in bed for a week, so he has a lot to catch up on. His mother tries to persuade him, but the father says that if he's awake that's enough. His sister asks if he's truly okay, and Lavis says that he actually kind of likes that guy because he gives off a similar vibe to himself, and that there are human-like demons even here. His sister gets freaked out, and Lavis realizes that he needs to be careful until he gets his body's memories back, because if the original didn't like him, then he can't either. He heads to school the next day, and his mom tells him to call him if he gets sick during class. She looks worried, and he says that he finished school 600 years ago in the demon realm, But for him to go back to school again at his age is really hell. He then recalls that human relationships are meant to be hell, and he heads to his class saying that humans don't even live for 100 years, so he should just stay quiet, and avoid soul annihilation while he's here. While he has bought some time by crushing House Hilt, he just needs to return to the demon realm, and take his father's throne before the Vindica royalty is put in danger again. Some of the students tell him it's been a while since they've seen him, and he nods back at them. Then they ask if he's bringing in the late fees for the time he was gone. As soon as they touch him he starts to freak out, and he says that the body is cowering on its own. He starts to recall some of the memories, and how this body was constantly bullied by others, and that is why he has such fear instilled into him. Lavis is just surprised that the body is so scared of such things. One of them smacks the back of his head asking why he's so scared of them to begin with, as he's gotten even more pathetic. It's been a while, so they should give him a proper welcome. He reminds him again to hurry up, and pay his late dues. Lavis then realizes that he's being bullied. He recalls his teacher in the demon realm, teaching them all about humans. The students freaked out saying they are so vulgar because they have no horns. She tells them that it's correct, humans are infinitely vulgar beings, and they will do anything to hide their own weakness. Moreover, they are foolish creatures who worship both demons and angels. Lavis says that they should just burn them away. The teacher says that's right, if he ever encounters a human he needs to crush their vulgarity into dust. He starts to get annoyed that a mere human is laying a hand on him, and he stands up as the guy is doom scrolling his phone. Lavis puts his hand on the back of the guy's head, and slams it straight down to the desk as he calls him a fool. The guy tells him to let go, and his homie goes to jump his shit, but he turns saying that his magic reacted. As the guy runs in at him, he rears his fist back. Lavis dodges, and says that human insults are actually stimulating his magic. So there must be a link between profanity and magic itself as he hits the dude back in the face, sending him flying into the lockers. The other students look surprised, and Lavis says that his magic should still be sealed in the human realm, but even in a human body his magic is reacting to malice. The students are surprised, asking what happened to him over the course he was gone. But they also see that the first dude that he slammed into the desk grabbed onto a chair, and is raising it over his head. A guy yells telling him to watch out, and Lavis turns before countering by kicking the dude in the chest. The dude drops to his knees struggling to breathe. He asks what the hell he thinks he's doing, and Lavis says that humans get more vulgar to hide their weakness, and that cursing like that doesn't make them look strong. He then raises his foot, and soccer kicks the dude straight in the face, and he says that the source of human profanity is his mother herself. As the dude lays there unconscious, and his homie is unconscious by the locker, the other students are just surprised, and we learn that their names were Taeyu and Sung Jun. Lavis says anyways he just has to stay quiet until he leaves, and he asks if there's anybody else who would like to curse at him, as he'll play along with his father's game. The other students wonder if that's really the minnow they knew. One of them didn't know that he was this strong. He's the first to walk over asking him if he's okay. Lavis smiles saying that this kid helped him earlier, and he looks perfect to use as his attendant. He tells him that he's fine. Later on the way out of school the kid yaps his ear off asking how he took them all on by himself as it was amazing. Then jokingly asks if he reincarnated into another world. He can't believe that he actually hit the nail on the head. The kid asks if he was reincarnated from the martial world or inside of a game. Lavis though is thinking about if the kid might have actually noticed who he is or not, and recalls Bamba telling him that in the human world he must not kill humans as that would result in true soul annihilation. Lavis says that teacher Cynthia said that they should crush vulgar humans. Bamba says that was just something she said offhand. Lavis says that humans are always trying to kill each other though. Bamba tells him it's because they are foolish, and that is why the demons have to exist. Lavis sighs, and Bamba tells him to remember that if he kills a human it will lead to soul annihilation. Lavis asks why it matters because he's a demon god anyways, so he won't even go to the human realm, but now that he's here he doesn't know how he will possibly silence them if he can't kill them. The kid says that if reincarnation really existed that would be nice, and he would like to wake up in another world too. Lavis says that he can smell desperate suffering coming from this one. The kid says that he knows reincarnation and all that is just nonsense, and he knows better than that, and the kid tells him how amazing he was earlier. Lavis starts to get the heebie-jeebies because he was praised by a human. That night back at his new body's house he says when humans cursed him his demonic power definitely activated, but a demon imprisoned in a human body shouldn't be able to use magic, and he doesn't know what's going on. He looks down at his hands, and thinks about it before smiling saying that it's just as he thought, and there truly are no limits to him. He then starts to get sudden pains all over his body, and he falls onto the bed saying that the body is far too weak to handle his power, and he can't believe it hurts everywhere. He's only lived as a human for one day, and that's already this miserable, but also if it hurts this much, how is he meant to get any sleep? Of course he knocks out anyways. The next morning he heads back to school, and the kid says it's been forever since they had a normal school day, and it's thanks to him that nobody messed with them. Lavis says that he'd just rather beat them up anyways since he wants to test his power more. One of the students on cue call out to him, and it causes his body to shiver a little bit when he turns around. We see either Tae-woo or Sung Jun, one of the kids who got bodied yesterday, and someone else asking if he was the one who messed with his little brother. He's been protecting him for peanuts this whole time, and yet this is how he repays that favor. The little Deku from Taemu kid starts to get scared. Lavis gets excited because he's being insulted. The guy smiles, telling him to follow him, and of course he does so because he's a freak. The guy then takes him to a construction site, telling his little brother Tae-woo that he shouldn't be going around getting his shit rocked, especially not by some weakling like that. Tae-woo apologizes, and the guy walks over asking Minho what he's meant to do with him. He says that if he just lets him go, he'll look like a lousy brother who can't keep his brother in line. He puts his finger on his forehead, asking if that's what his mother taught him, to beat up good kids. Lavis smiles, saying that she actually did. The guy gets annoyed before raising his hand, asking why he's smiling. He swings to go down to hit him, but Lavis grabs it, saying that the sharpest curses, the ones that remind him of his mother, are always the sweetest. He squeezes, and we hear the guy's wrist starting to snap, and he screams, asking what the hell he thinks he's doing. Lavis rears back his fist, saying that his mother gifted poison to the tongues of humans, and now he gets to reap all of that benefit. As he hits the guy with an uppercut, he follows with a barrage straight to his face, saying that violence only binds the flesh, but a rotting voice gnaws at the soul, and these pitiful beings are desperately calling out to her. Tae-woo and everybody else are surprised that he's actually whooping this dude, even the little Deku kid too. The guy yells for his boys to jump his shit since he doesn't want a fair fight anymore. Lavis asks if he's really going to be coming at him as a group, and says that's low-key even better for him. Against greater evil, greater power gathers as he starts making light work of each and every one of them, using the bare minimum movements required to knock out them all. Deku is just screaming because he's surprised. A bit later, eventually the sounds of fighting stops, and Lavis sighs, while everybody else on the ground is coughing, and Lavis is just enjoying it, saying that that was such a refreshing feeling. His uncle granted violence to humans while his mother created curses, but he says violence, it really is the best, and now he understands why he allowed it, and he starts thanking his uncle. Deku asks what he's doing, and we see some red eyes watching him from a hole, and they're definitely not a normal mouse's eyes. Back in the demon realm, we hear Bamba telling somebody else that the task that was ordered has been carried out properly, and we hear his uncle saying that he's so glad to see his adorable nephew. As he's stepping on the head of a demon, he says it seems like he quite likes the gift he left him. Bamba is also there, saying that a demon bloodstone was embedded in the eye instead of a taboo stone, and he wants to see just how long he'll be able to endure the new hell he's created for him. But we learn that they're actually at the Hilt family castle from the start of the series. His uncle laughs, saying that he really wiped them all out. Bamba says that Lavis always gets his way after all. His uncle says that nobody can ever reign in that stubborn brat. But tossing him into the human realm without a second thought, Gamadair really shows no mercy. Bamba says to deal with a high-ranking one, only subjugation by force works, and that's the creed of Lord Gamadair, the great demon king. His uncle says that the human realm is where even the demon world sends its worst criminals, and Lavis won't adapt easily. He wonders when he grew up enough to start causing trouble like this, and recalls a memory from him as a kid. We finally learns that his uncle's name is Barca. Bamba says that preparations to manifest the sinner sent to the human realm are complete, and Barca laughs, telling Bamba to go ahead and show them to him. As a purple aura starts to come out from Bamba's hand, he says that since Lavis has descended to the human realm, he will inevitably come face to face with all of them. Barca then sits up out of his chair, and stretches his hand out, and starts to absorb the aura, creating a ball in front of him. He says that his nephew is going to be super excited because he's facing the true darkness. Back to Lavis, the little Deku kid is asking him what the hell happened because even Tae-woo went down super easily, and it felt like he was watching a movie. Lavis ignores him, and asks if this is meant to be hellfire because this food is not spicy at all. Deku tells him that he's crying though, and Lavis says that he's an idiot, and that's just sweat. Deku says that he told him they should have ordered the beginner level spice, but Lavis says the demon who avoids hell isn't a demon at all. Deku then starts to get a phone call, and it's from someone named Jin Jae-hee. He looks visibly worried. Lavis asks if he's picking it up or not, and he says that he did just get an urgent call, so he'll head out first, telling him to enjoy the food. We see him visibly shaking as he leaves, and Lavis seems curious about it. It takes us elsewhere to a hidden room in an alley. As we see a bloody tattoo gun, and a man screaming, and a woman tells him to stop moving or else he'll get hurt. She tells him that he should have paid his debt on time. She ended up having to do extra work because of him, but with this it's all done. As the dude looks like he's nodding off on some fent, she tells him that it turned out pretty nicely. We hear a man call out to her, and we learn that she's Jae-hee. We see Deku terrified of her. She asks why he's so late, and tells him to come over here, and take a look. We finally learn that his name is Cyan. She brings him over the table telling him to open his eyes widely, and take a look. She shows that the writing she put on this dude's forehead, saying it means thief bastard. He got punished because he couldn't pay his debt. But what about him? Their promise is surely going along well. Terrified, he says that there are some bugs that are interfering with it. She slaps him, causing him to fall to the floor, asking if he thinks this is a joke. She asks why he's so slow to get it. She gets her men to hold out his hand. She says that maybe she should just carve it onto the back of his hand so he understands. He screams, telling her no, and she tells him to listen carefully, as this is the last chance she'll give him to do exactly as he's told, and make sure that everything is ready so she can finally finish this. Back at his house, he's on his computer, and he's terrified, saying that if he doesn't do this he's going to end up one of her next tattoo victims, and he's scared. But he's not at the point where the fear is controlling him. Back to Lavis, he's rolling around in pain because of his body. More so because of the spicy food he ate, and he asks if this is what it's like to be bad with it. His stomach burns, and his whole body feels like it's falling apart. He only fought a little, and his shoulder feels like it's about to pop out. He takes off his clothes, saying that it's all because his body is weak and pathetic, and that he will not fall to something like this. As he starts training on the spot, he says he's going to rehabilitate this body no matter what, as no pain will ever make him submit. The next day at school, we see Cyan looking down at some kind of storage device, and he's afraid, saying that this app is way too dangerous, but he's also really scared of Jae-hee, and he's debating on what to do with it because he doesn't know. Lavis then walks up to him, asking why he's so startled. Cyan debates asking him for his help or not, but says he can't. He says even Minho will be in danger if he gets involved with Jae-hee, and he can't let him get hurt. Lavis though smells something interesting, saying that he's definitely smelled this before. As he turns, a woman trips over, falling straight onto the floor eating shit. Cyan calls out to her, and we learn that her name is Seunggi. He asks if she's okay, telling her to snap out of it. He rolls her over, asking if she's hurt somewhere, but she is clearly tweaking because her shit was laced. He freaks out, but Lavis says this is demonic energy, so why is it inside of a human? One of the teachers quickly runs over, and picks her up, saying he'll get her to the infirmary. As she walks by, Lavis glances at her arm, and sees a crest on it, saying that is symbol of the Hilt family. Later at the hospital, we see a cop waiting outside of her room, and Lavis goes to approach the door, and she tells him to wait, asking if he's one of Seunggi's friends because she needs to rest right now so there's no visitors. He gets right into her face, which startles her, and he says he grants her oblivion. Her eyes start to shine purple, and they roll to the back of her head as she walks over, and sits back down at the chair. He says even with such faint demonic power, this level of ability is possible, although it's only temporary. He closes the door, and Seunggi looks over, asking who he is, and he says that's his question, asking who she's meant to be. She asks what he's talking about all of a sudden, and he grabs her arm. She screams, saying that it hurts. He looks back down, and he asks why a mere human would bear the symbol of the Hilt family. She asks what the hell he's yapping about, and he says that if she doesn't want to suffer worse consequences, to speak honestly, he needs to know her true identity. Her teeth start chattering as she looks up in horror, and she can tell instinctively that he is a demon. She starts to panic, and he tells her to spit it out. She says she really doesn't know anything, and it's because of Jae-hee. She told her that she had to get this tattoo if she wanted to join their crew, and that she'd give her the diet pills too. Lavis says that the faint scent coming off her is definitely a scent he smelled in the demon realm. We get a flashback to him walking down a tower when he was younger, and even Bamba was a kid too, saying that this is a restricted area, so what are they doing here? Lavis looks at him, and laughs, calling him a coward, which annoys Bamba, and he says he's not scared, he just doesn't want to be punished. Lavis tells him to leave then, but Bamba says he doesn't want to do that, knowing him he'll get into trouble if he leaves him. He wonders how far down they'll keep going, as it seems like it's going on for a while. Bamba then asks if he knew. Lavis says he has no idea what he's talking about, and Bamba says that being in the dark reminded him of a story about those who possess eyes that transcend their species. From what he knows, there are two ways they lose their sight: either the light is too bright and blinds them, or they see nothing at all, and their eyes atrophy. Lavis then tells him to be quiet since something is here. As he leans up against the door, we see off in the distance there is a flower blooming out of a hand. Bamba Scared asks what that is, and Lavis says they won't know until they get closer. As they do so they get right over the flower, and Bamba says this is Jeremy Hilt. Lavis says looking at the state of him he's already dead, as the flowers are coming up from his eyes too. Lavis asks what's the deal with the flower, but Bamba tells him not to touch it, but he rips it out, and starts wiggling. Lavis says this shit reeks, and Bamba says this is the gnawing flower. Back to the present, Lavis says it smells just like that. Seunggi begs to be spared, and Lavis thinks about it before he looks out the window, spotting a bat staring at him. They recognize Lavis saying they're looking forward to their meeting already. He heads downtown to the alley where Jae-hee's shop is, and he stands before it saying that with both the hilt crest, and the gnawing flower, he doesn't think this is a coincidence. Inside, we hear a man talking about Cyan, and they don't know why anyone's obsessed with that brat. The other dude says they're not obsessed, they just want the app he made, and the dude laughs saying that he forgot they were going high-tech now. He holds up a piece of candy, that somebody named Young Moo had developed it recently. His friend tells him to go easy on that stuff asking if he didn't hear what happened to Seunggi yesterday, and it's brand new so the side effects are gnarly. The dude says he doesn't care as long as it feels good. When Lavis turns the corner he spots the hilt crest on the guy's neck saying that it's the scent once more, and the crest. The guy spots him, and Lavis asks if they got those tattoos from Jae-hee. The blonde dude walks over asking if he's one of Jae-hee's friends, and puts his hand on his neck saying that he needs to show them some respect. Lavis's eyes start to light up, and he knocks the guy's hand away before hitting him across the face. The guy falls straight onto the floor, and they yell asking who sent him, but he closes the gap rocking his shit. One of the last two dudes starts charging at him while the other is digging through his pockets. Lavis barely has to move to evade it, and counters by hitting him in the face too. The other dude pulls out his knife, and runs at him. Lavis starts spinning, and kicks the dude right in the neck knocking him out instantly, and he asks where Jae-hee is. The blonde guy stands back up, and is straight tweaking saying that he's going to kill him. Lavis says that his demonic energy just spiked, and the guy leaps at him. Lavis can tell that his movements have changed saying that the drug enhanced his physical abilities. But as he's going backwards to dodge the attack, he trips over one of the dudes, and falls onto the floor. The blonde guy is now leaping at him like a pit bull at a daycare, and rears back his fist going to attack, and Lavis realizes that this is bad. Elsewhere, we see Jae-hee inside of the room with some other people, and she says that she's sorry but the app isn't finished yet. Someone else says that they made it very clear this time so it won't be long. The guy on the couch says that he feels like he heard that last time. Also they caught the one who was skimming the blue ribbon supply. The dude says he made a mistake asking to be spared, and he only needs one chance as he won't mess up again. The guy on the couch looks at a pot of fake flowers, and pulls them out. Then over to the dude. The guy begs for mercy, and starts squirming, and screaming. The dude raises the flowers into the air. As the guy screams, he stabs them straight into his eye, because they are fake plastic flowers that have been sharpened down. Jae-hee looks scared, and the dude continues to beg to be spared, but the guy still has more flowers in his hand. He stabs straight into his other eye, blinding the man by putting flowers into his skull. He tells him that there are no second chances, and he trusts that everyone here understands that. Specifically though he's talking to Jae-hee telling her to stop making excuses, and bring the app to her. She says that she understands. On her way back to her shop she says at this rate she's going to be screwed too. Panicked, she's telling Cyan that he needs to pick up his phone. We see him at his desk, and he looks down at it before he answers it. But it's none other than Lavis saying that he was going to look into it himself, but the kids here aren't listening to him. Cyan asks what he means, and Lavis asks if he knows who Jae-hee is. Lavis tells him that he saw him pick up a call from her previously. Cyan asks how he knows that, and Lavis says that the name was flashing right there on the screen, and he needs to know where she lives. Cyan asks how he even knows Jae-hee, and if those guys have got to him. Lavis says that it's not that. He's the one who came looking for Jae-hee because he needs to verify something. Cyan asks where he is right now, and he says that he's at her tattoo shop, but she's not here. He then notices something, and walks over towards the stairs as he sees a little cat startled to see him. Cyan says that he absolutely cannot get involved with Jae-hee, and he's coming to get him right now. Lavis is just confused, and looks over at the cat seeing it playing with the ball nervously. It's obviously pretending to be a normal cat, and he calls out to it, and it continuously grows more nervous as he picks it up. He says he knows it understands him. The cat meows, and he says that he needs to understand it too. He starts glaring at it, and the cat yells yes sir. Lavis says last time it was a rat, yesterday it was a bat, and today it's a cat, and he wonders what exactly it is, and why it's doing this Dr. Seuss shit. The cat says that it is a monitor from the demon realm sent to the human world. Their mission is to keep an eye on the prisoners without being noticed. That's why it was watching over him. Lavis says that its demonic energy is too weak, asking if it's really a demon. The monitor says that she doesn't know how he managed to notice her. Lavis says that it stands out way too much, and also it's standing on its 2 legs right now. She looks surprised. Lavis tells her there's no point asking any more questions, then tells the master of this creature to show itself. Its eyes start to lock in, and it takes us to Bamba, who says that was faster than he expected. He says that Lavis sure did figure it out pretty quickly. Lavis calls Bamba a bastard, asking if this was his doing again, and Bamba says calling his friend a bastard is cold. Lavis asks what he's plotting, and Bamba asks what he's talking about. Lavis sighs, saying to forget it, and he just has one question, as things are different from what he remembers, and if a prisoner normally can use demonic power in the human realm. Bamba says that there are exceptions to every rule, and he'll figure that out on his own soon enough, and if there's anything else he needs to ask. Lavis then mentions the gnawing flower, saying that the scent is strong in this world, and Bamba smelt it back then, so he should know that it's a flower forbidden even in the demon realm, yet he can sense it here. Bamba says that the demon realm's administrators already know that the Hilt family's reach has spread to the human world. They were persistent bastards, so they can't exactly say that they were completely wiped out. Lavis asks if it's really the Hilt family again, and if he's saying that the remaining forces are here in the human world. Bamba laughs, telling him that the human realm isn't what it used to be. It's a playground for all sorts of conspiracies now, but this works out perfectly since he's already there. He should go ahead and clean them all out. Lavis asks what he's talking about, and tells Bamba to spill the rest of it, but the monitor loses connection. Lavis wonders if the connection was cut, and gets annoyed. Still outside of her shop, Jae-hee is panicked that he's not picking up, saying that time is of the essence, and she can't believe he's not answering his phone. She gets so pissed she says that she'll go forcibly get him. Someone else gets a call from her, and the dude asks what's up. It's Sung Jun. She tells him to come to the office right now since they're going to go catch that bastard Cyan. Back to Lavis, he tells the monitor that she must know a lot about the human world, and she says she's supposed to, since she has to visit the prisoners in rotation. She receives regular updates on basic info, and her detection abilities are decent. He tells her to return to her original form, and she looks confused. He asks if she wants him to do it for her, and she screams, saying no. She casts some magic, and it's super bright, and she turns into a little demon girl. He says that she looks way too weak. He says that she must have been sent here for a reason, asking what her name is. She says that she doesn't have one of her own. He tells her that her new name will be Street. Since he picked her up from the street, she should never forget where she came from. She gets excited by the fact that she has her own name now, and she thanks him for giving it to her. He then tells her to spill everything she knows about the human world. Downtown we see Cyan running in a hurry, saying that Minho is in danger, and he should have kept refusing until the end. We get a flashback to him running somewhere else after he got an app challenge reward, saying he can't believe he won, and that's when he ran into Jae-hee and her gang. They forced him into their car, and the dude from the couch was in there waiting for him. He asks what he's so scared about, as it's just a business transaction. He has 50 million won in cash beside him, and if he hands over the app he made, it's all his. Cyan says he didn't make it to sell it. The guy thinks about it, telling him that's just what he thinks. Of course he didn't say anything because he was scared. Back to the present, he's still running, saying that he needs to get there as fast as he can to make sure he doesn't meet Jae-hee. He then bumps into someone. When he looks up, he realizes who it is. It's Sung Jun. He says they didn't even have to go looking for him. Scared, he looks further into the alley, spotting Jae-hee, and she tells him that he's finished now, and he starts to get scared. We see them throw him into a room, and Jae-hee says from now on his only job is to manage the app here, and if he doesn't want to be locked up for the rest of his life, he better do it right. Cyan tells her to wait a second, but she says that they're going to be watching every move from outside, so he better not get any funny ideas. She then closes it, and they also have him trapped in there with a guard watching over, and he says that it's all over. Sung Jun asks if that guy is really a developer, as he looks like a pushover. Jae-hee tells him that they need what he built if they want to redistribute the blue ribbon. The other guy says that the app he made is called I'm Here, and he doesn't know how that's supposed to be a distribution channel, as even the name sounds like trash. He boots up the computer, and starts working on the I'm Here app. The couch guy approaches, asking if everything is ready. He explains to them that it is the core of their project, and once they have the buyer's data in their hands, they will be able to manipulate the market however they want, and the real-time location sharing feature within I'm Here will be their primary weapon for expanding the business. Sung Jun asks if they're finally going to start selling blue ribbon for real, and he says that they will, and it's time to show blue ribbon to the world. Back at the school, everybody is talking about the app, and how if you sign up and add someone as a friend you can get 30,000 won per person for cash back. Everybody begins downloading it and adding one another, and there is a sign up event going on for diet pills, which is Blue Ribbon. He can't believe that the amount of users increased this much in just one day, saying it's insane. Sung Jun agrees, and I guess the couch guy was Young Moo, who we heard mentioned before. He then asks if they haven't caught the bastard who trashed her shop, and one of them says he checked the CCTV, but all it showed was a bat. She asks why the hell a bat would be there, and he takes her to the security room, and it shows a bat just staring at the camera the entire time. She asks about the other camera, and it's being blocked off by a rat this time. She asks how this makes any sense, and Sung Jun gets a notification telling he to check it out as the Blue Ribbon stock just arrived. Back to Lavis, he's looking down asking Street what she's doing. As she's struggling to fit into a hole, she says she put on a little weight lately. He asks about the investigation he ordered yesterday, and she says it was by no means an easy task, but she finally figured it out. After he knocked out the dude at his shop, he picked up Blue Ribbon, and says that it's definitely the scent of the gnawing flower. He says they have been consuming this to awaken, since it is impossible to cultivate the gnawing flower without a host, but he doesn't know how they got their hands on this when it was wiped out even in the demon realm. Street tells him that the candy he asked her to investigate is called Blue Ribbon, and is spreading among humans in various forms like diet pills and supplements. He asks about the raw materials, and she says that it's being manufactured so secretly that it's difficult to track down the source of all the materials. He asks if she found out anything useful at all, and she says that she figured something out, and the finished product is spreading rapidly, and since the volume is so massive, if they follow the concentrated traces of demonic energy they can find the manufacturer. He says that she should have already gone and done that already, and she says that's because she waited as Bamba told her to go with him. He asks if she's reporting every single thing to Bamba now, and she says that she's sorry, but she's a lowly creature who must follow the orders of both of them. He then tells her to pick one right now, and if her master is him or Bamba. She starts to panic because she can't choose, and Lavis tells her that if she chooses him, he'll make sure that she's no longer just a lowly creature. She folds under zero pressure, thinking about how she could be a higher class demon, and says that she'll offer her blood and flesh to him. He says this is good, and he starts to imbue her with some of his demonic energy, saying he shall take her as his personal subordinate. A little entity of Bamba floats out of her head, and Lavis says with this the deal is sealed, and it's time for them to head out to where the Blue Ribbon is gathered. They finally get there at night, and we see a bunch of cargo containers in the forest. She says that this place is where the demonic energy of the Blue Ribbon is concentrated. He says they should open one up then, but she tells him that it seems to be locked up. He tells her to move, and punches it, causing the chains to fall apart, and when it opens they both instantly start smelling it, saying that this shit reeks. As we see tons of boxes lying on the inside, they both now realize that everything around them is none other than Blue Ribbon itself based on the smell. But we get a flashback to the demon realm when Lavis was a kid, and he was fighting with his uncle. They were having some friendly banter. His uncle came in with a heavy punch which Lavis blocked. Though of course it didn't matter because it still sent him flying off the cliff. His uncle laughs, asking if he thinks this is enough to kill him, and jumps off with him. When Lavis hit the ground, he was complaining about how bad it hurt. His uncle came down to shit talk him some more, but got distracted by something. Lavis wonders what it was, and when he looks over we see nothing but gnawing flowers. His uncle says he never thought they were all hiding here. Lavis was surprised, and says that when darkness and light divided, and beings that could not coexist were created in opposition, there were entities that grew unable to be absorbed by either color. On some straight caveman shit. That's how long ago it appeared in the human world. We learn that the flower first bloomed in the place where they gathered would eventually be something that would lead to the world's destruction, if left by itself. Knowing this, he and his uncle made sure to burn all the gnawing flower they could. Back to the present, Lavis says that they definitely should have been burned then. He's confused. Street says that she is too. Street asks how there is such a large quantity. He tells her that it originally first appeared here in the human world. This place is an intermediate world muddled with light and darkness, and the human world which belongs to neither side, but can go anywhere. According to human history, he learned that humans wiped them all out thousands of years ago, but if they truly appeared in both worlds simultaneously, then someone has to have intended for that to be the case. She says that indeed that has to be true until somebody shines a light on the two of them. They turn, and we hear one of Jaehee's men saying that he was wondering where that voice was coming from. They ask what they're doing here. Her men then start telling her that this is the bastard who came to their tattoo shop. Street also narks, saying that that is Jaehee over there. Jaehee asks who they are to mess up her tattoo shop, but also how they found this place. Lavis asks if she's the one managing these things. He makes fun of the way he speaks, asking what he'll do if she is. He asks if she knows about the raw materials for it. She laughs, saying that he must be trying to steal their precious business info. He says that's not his intention, it's just that leaving it would be unsettling for him. She reaches into her pockets, and tells her men that they know what will happen if they mess up in front of young Moo again. She gives them a special ration of blue ribbon. They start to go crazy, asking if they can have it for free, and she tells them to shut up, and eat it. As they start doing so, Lavis tells Street that she needs to go hide. She says okay, and runs away. The dudes all start tweaking out, releasing demonic energy. He tells them to go ahead, and crush him already. They start to run over without a moment's hesitation, and Lavis says that they are intoxicated without even knowing what it is. With the demonic energy being so abundant, and overflowing, this won't even be a fair fight. He blocks the first guy's attack, and counters with a right to his face. His homeboy comes to follow up, and he gets kicked straight to the neck. While he's still falling, Lavis dashes forward towards the next dude who's holding a knife, but he gets low to the floor, and comes in with an upper straight to the dude's chin. He then turns for the last guy, but the first guy is already back in the fight, tackling him. He's numb to the pain at this point, and the guy throws Lavis to the floor. The big guy finally makes his fat ass there, and comes in with a flying knee. Lavis blocks it. And Street can tell that this is a problem. He starts to smile as all three of the dudes start ganging up on him. And at this point it's just a matter of time until the dude who got kicked in the neck wakes up too. Lavis is on the defensive, saying that these guys are much stronger than the previous ones, and it must be because they consumed more. He realizes what he must do, and turns towards the cargo containers. He reaches inside, grabbing one of the bags, and turns, throwing it towards the dudes. They start inhaling the demonic energy, and Lavis says he hates this low-grade stench. But with all this demonic energy in the air, his body is reacting even more intensely. The dudes low-key start to overdose, but Lavis doesn't miss the chance, and he palms the dude's face like a basketball, slamming him to the floor. Then raises his fist, and buries his head straight into the ground. One of them comes in for a kick, but he dodges underneath, grabbing onto his leg, and slams him onto the floor too, and then holds his leg up before breaking his kneecaps in. The Chud leaps at him, but gets hit with a back fist that causes him to spin, and while he's still spinning, Lavis quickly gets under him, and starts to straight up squat the guy before suplexing him into the ground. He asks how the hell he's doing this alone. As he slowly stands back up, releasing all the demonic energy, she's completely instilled with fear, and she sees the aura of a demon behind him. Her teeth start chattering. She realizes that she made a mistake, as just his gaze alone is making her terrified. But it takes us elsewhere as we see a woman performing ballet, and the mother is watching, hoping that her daughter can impress the ballet company. Young Moo enters the room, saying that he's been waiting to see his VIP customer. She asks who he is, and how dare he enter her room. She calls him a thug. He puts the blue ribbon on the table, saying that they received a bulk order, so they just came to deliver it personally. She looks surprised, asking what this is. Young Moo asks why she looks so confused. They handle everything from manufacturing to sales, so she has nothing to worry about. She asks if there's really no problem with this, and he's surprised if she's only wondering now. He knows that she's been feeding her daughter plenty of it before sending her up onto the stage. Her eyes start to zone out as she twirls. It looks violent, and her mother looks worried. As her daughter begins foaming out of the mouth, her hands start spazzing. Young Moo says it seems the effects kicked in fast, and he wants to know how much she fed her for her to be tweaking out like that. The mother starts screaming, telling her daughter to stop. We see her ankle break. She falls onto the floor, and everybody watching is horrified, wondering what the hell is wrong with her. Even the mother can't believe what just happened, and says that they mentioned there were no side effects. Young Moo says that only applies when you stick to the recommended dosage, and that her daughter seems to have no hope left. She'll only be able to live if she satisfies herself with fake desires using this. Now she won't be able to live without blue ribbon for the rest of her life. As their VIP customer, it seems they just made a lifelong deal. The mother starts freaking out, saying that she's invested so much in her. Young Moo smiles, but notices that his phone is vibrating. When he looks down, it's He wonders what the hell she wants, and she's apologizing to him. Lavis then enters, asking if he's the one making blue ribbon. Young Moo asks who the hell he is. Lavis says that he must be the one making it, telling him to look at him for a second. Young Moo hangs up the phone, telling the mother that something urgent came up, so they need to leave. Back at the storage area for the drug, Street asks why humans do drugs in the first place. Lavis says it's because they're arrogant and stupid, and even if they do drugs, they're overconfident that they won't get addicted. Because they have nothing to believe in. They cling to such small things. Street points behind him telling him to look at that. He starts yelling out for Young Moo. He asks if the tattoo shop was his doing too, and if he was looking for him. Lavis says he has no interest in a mere human like him. He instantly picks up on his language, realizing he is a demon, or related to one. We get a flashback to him as a kid kicking his dad, telling him that he needs more drugs. He says he lived his whole life high on drugs, and now he died high. But if he dies like this, how the hell is he supposed to get more drugs? Since he's just a kid, his dad's eyes start to light back up, and he starts gasping for air. He looks surprised, and asks his dad what's wrong, as he thought he was dead. A demon appears asking if he's sad about this man's death. Young Moo asks what the hell is going on. The demon says that if his sadness desires it, it will return this body to him. Young Moo says that he finally kicked the bucket, so why would he be sad? He doesn't need a trashy dad like that, he just needs drugs. The demon says if that's the case, then he can feed his father's corpse to this gnawing flower, and with that trust is established between them, and he shall obtain what he desperately desires. Young Moo tries to ask about the gnawing flower, but the demon says if someone appears who deceives his loyalty, and denies the gnawing flower, he can kill them, and his faith shall protect him. Young Moo looks down at the flower in his hand, and starts smiling before he runs over to his dad, and plunges it into his eyes. Back to the present, Young Moo asks what he means by merely a human. Lavis says that it looks like he is something that he believes in. Young Moo says this is true because he was given a new life. Lavis says as expected he made a contract with a demon, and he tells him that he doesn't know what kind of trash he believes in, but both that bastard and him are a pity. Young Moo asks if he's really insulting him, and he tells his men to drag him to him right now. Street starts hauling cheeks. Lavis says this is boring, and he needs to end this quickly. Meanwhile, we see an ambulance as the mother is rushing her daughter to the hospital. It's not just her that's having trouble, because even the fellow students at Lavis's school are getting addicted to the drugs, and people all over are having overdoses. Sung Jun and his boy are talking about how it's already piercing through China, and Japan too, and that Young Moo really killed the sales for this. Meanwhile, Cyan says that it's because of the app that he made drugs are spreading this fast, and he needs someone to stop this now. Back to Lavis, one of Young Moo's bodyguards falls onto the floor, and he yells telling Young Moo that this bastard is not human. Young Moo thinks about it, recalling the demon saying that if someone appears to deceive his loyalty, and denies the gnawing flower, to kill them. He pulls out 3 blue ribbon pills, and eats them, saying that he will do so. He says the demon's name that he's working under, and it's none other than a man named Lord Barwer Hilt. He tries telling Young Moo that he's not an ordinary high schooler, and he might be a part of the kids making the new drug. Lavis asks what the hell she's talking about, and Young Moo takes the chance to close the gap. Lavis turns, and blocks the attack, but that moment of distraction puts him on the defensive as he's having to permanently block all of Young Moo's attacks. Lavis says that he's fast, and he's on a much different level than all those other guys. Young Moo asks how he's able to block his attacks, and if he received that guy's blessing too. Telling him that he is his god, and he must be his god alone. Lavis says he understands it now. That the gnawing flower, and this filthy smell, it means the god he believes in is none other than Barwer Hilt. Young Moo asks how he knows about him, and Lavis says it's his fault for picking such a pathetic loser, and he picked a bad person to trust. Young Moo tells him to not insult the one who took pity on him. Lavis laughs, saying that he must have looked so pathetic that he sought him out even while hiding, and running away himself. Young Moo yells, saying that he is not someone a wretch like him can speak of, and it sends him in a blind fit of rage, and he starts just attacking wildly. Lavis says that Barwer has really moved up in the world, and back when he was murdering the entirety of the Hilt clan, he actually noticed that that coward ran away all on his own, but he didn't bother chasing such a rat. For him to be getting treated like a king here, he needs to find him, and exterminate him, once and for all. Young Moo says that he should not even utter Barwer's name, and for some reason he begins to release even more demonic energy than he did previously, but the stench is really getting to Lavis at this point. Young Moo says that anyone who insults Barwer will be killed by his own hands. He grabs him by the back of his head, holding onto his hair and collar, and starts kneeing him in the chest before he picks him up into the air, and slams him onto the ground. Lavis looks up only to see Young Moo crouching over him, and starts wailing all over his face, saying that the blue ribbon, as well as Barwer, is all his, and nobody can take it. Lavis says that he's already lost his reasoning to the demonic energy, and he really intends to kill him here. Young Moo screams, and continues attacking him. Street watches in fear, saying that she can tell that Lavis is at his limit with the human body, but if this were the demon realm he could use his abilities. Bamba and Barca are watching this. Bamba says it seems the test subject for the gnawing flower has completely fused. Even if Lavis is in a human body, since he has the demonic bloodstone embedded into his eye, he thought he'd be able to suppress the test subject, but he might genuinely die this time, and then Lavis's soul would be annihilated forever. Barca asks if he knows what Lavis hates the most. Bamba says that he hates pretty much everything, so it's hard to pick just one. His temper is nasty as hell, and he wonders who he takes after. Obviously he's taking a shot at Barca. Barca tells him that he can feel that he's catching strays, but tells him that it's filth, and that he's a misophobe, and he absolutely can't stand anything dirty. Lavis stops the next punch by grabbing his hand, telling him that he's dirty as hell. Young Moo is surprised that he actually stopped it. Lavis tells him he can't stand it anymore. That stench coming from him is way too strong. He starts to squeeze onto Young Moo's fist, which causes him to pull away from the pain. Lavis says even if it's just his left hand, it feels like he's regained his original hand. He looks over at Young Moo, who is still confused by the situation. Lavis says he doesn't want to touch that filthy body of his. His hand begins to glow with demonic energy, and he quickly closes the gap, saying he's going to end this now. The first punch sends Young Moo's head flying backwards, but he manages to not fall over, and he's just surprised that a human can have this much power. Lavis asks why he keeps calling him a human when he's not one of their kind. He then hits him in the face again, and this one sends him flying backwards as he skips along the floor. He watches the entire thing horrified, and falls onto the ground. Young Moo asks what the hell he's yapping about. Lavis says that's his line, and he needs to stop opening that filthy mouth of his. He hits him once more in the face, and this time it sends him soaring into the air. Bamba watches, asking why he's suddenly acting like this. Barca tells him that Lavis must have a headache from the stench coming off the test subject. It must have been hard to get close because of the smell, because of course he hates filth more than anything. When his misophobia is overly stimulated, it leads to an awakening, letting him use a portion of his body's real power. Bamba asks if that means he can use his full power in a human body. Barca says that it's because Lavis is no ordinary guy. No matter what anyone says, he's undoubtedly just like him, as he takes after his uncle. Young Moo gets sent flying backwards into the boxes, and Lavis tells him to consider himself lucky. Lucky that he couldn't commit murder with his body. Young Moo is still in disbelief, saying that he received a direct blessing from Barwa. Then he realizes that he's right up against the boxes. It clicks in his head, and he says that the blue ribbon is right behind him. Lavis tells him to not get any funny ideas, as he'll finish this without killing him. He widens his stance as if he's charging up his punch. And we see it generate a shockwave in the air as it comes in, and Young Moo can't help but watch as it closes the gap in an instant, shoving his head straight backwards into the box. Lavis then slowly lets go of his wrist, and pulls his hand back as Young Moo's face is buried into the box now, and his body's gone limp. He looks like he straight up died. Lavis puts his hand into his blazer, and takes out a tissue to cover his nose, saying that the stench is fading a bit. Meanwhile, Cyan is looking at his app, saying this is not it, and he didn't design the app for this purpose. He says he went to a predetermined school, and his relationships were formed inside of a classroom he can't escape from, just to survive, and avoid becoming a target. He forced himself to act like he liked someone else, and sometimes acted like he hated someone too. Without needing to pretend to be close, he just wanted to help people find relationships they truly needed. That is the reason he made the app. He didn't make it to sell drugs. As he starts changing the code, Bro is trying to decode the Epstein files, and outside of the room, Sung Jun and his boys wonder if this is an error because their apps are acting up. Realizing it's a matter of time until they catch on, he quickly runs to the door, and jams it with his chair. They start banging on the window and door. Sung Jun tells them to hurry up and get inside, but Cyan plans to permanently delete the app. As he goes to finalize it, Sung Jun throws a stool into the window, shattering it. They all start leaping in, and Cyan realizes this is bad as they hit him straight across the face. The app was only 30% into deleting, and one of them starts beating him. Sung Jun tells the other dude to hurry up and stop the deletion, or else Young Moo will come and kill them all. Cyan says he has to hold on until it is deleted, and he needs to be desperate in situations like these. He grabs onto a glass fragment, and swipes, cutting one of the dude's shins, and makes a break towards a fire extinguisher. He pulls the pin, and turns, telling them this is his, and he's tired of working for these pieces of shit. He starts spraying the fire extinguisher, and while they're distracted, he watches the progress for the deletion go all the way to the end. He says he actually did it. Sung Jun charges straight towards him, grabbing him by the throat. He slams him to the floor, telling everyone else to tie him up. They can't really see too well because of the fog, but start to make their way over. Cyan is desperate, and he starts to grab onto Sung Jun's arm, saying that in the end, this is all he amounted to. Sung Jun starts flaming him. But we see Lavis appear behind him, asking how dare he lay his hand on his attendant. Sung Jun turns confused. As Lavis's hand extends out of the fog, Sung Jun's men hear him scream, and wonder what's going on. They finally see him as his nose is pouring blood, and Lavis is whooping his shit. They realize they need to help him, but Lavis doesn't miss a beat, as he charges straight in, and hits the first dude with the left, and the second instantly with his right. They fall over at the same time, and he asks why they're laying a hand on his one and only servant. Even if he dies, he won't let what's his be taken. Cyan's surprised by Minho's behavior, and we get a flashback to him showing him the app he's developing, and how it's an app where people can get along and interact through a messaging board. If you live nearby, you can share locations with each other and form study groups. The original Minho was impressed, saying that it's amazing he made something like this, and then asked what this red alert is. Cyan says back when he was dragged away by Taeyu's gang, he's sorry he couldn't help him, and at the time he thought he couldn't find where he'd gone, so he added this feature. If you press this, your location shows only to the friends you've set, and if something like this happens again, to just press it, he'll find him no matter where he is. Whether it's reporting it, or gathering friends together. The original Minho smiled, but we see that he had pain in his eyes. Then he thanks him, saying that he'll download the app immediately, as Cyan was his actual friend. Cyan's now starting to look up at him super teary-eyed, and Lavis asks him if he's the one who sent this. Cyan's so glad that his signal sent through, and begins to cry full-blown tears, thanking him from the bottom of his heart, and we see him looking so relieved. Back outside, we see Jae-hee being held by Street, and she wonders why she's so damn strong. Street tells her to just stay still, and shut the hell up. Lavis and Cyan then turn the corner, and Jae-hee makes a break for it. But Lavis says to leave her as he doesn't need her anymore, and first of all it seems all the gnawing flowers are gone. As he set that shit ablaze, the cops and fire department showed up, saying that they need to suppress the fire immediately. But they wonder what's going on here in the first place, and then they look over, spotting Young Moo and his boys, and recognize them as local thugs. As Lavis, Street, and Cyan are walking back home, Cyan can't help but stare at Street, confused by who she is. Lavis says he can't help but feel like his uncle Barca is using him, and when he gets back he won't let this shit slide. Cyan asks Lavis if he's sure he doesn't need to go to the hospital, and Lavis says he's fine since it's annoying. Cyan then thanks him, but of course calls him Minho. He says that he just pressed the SOS button just in case, and he didn't actually think he'd come. Lavis goes to explain it to him, saying that it was a coincidence, but Street covers his mouth, and asks if he's really trying to say it was just a coincidence. Right before he went and saved Cyan, when they were escorting Jae-hee, Lavis asked her if this was the route to her hideout, and if she didn't show them properly she'd end up like the guy earlier. She says he must be doing this because Cyan is his friend. That is the only reason he'd be going this far. He's just surprised they had Cyan, saying that explains why he didn't go to school. She says that if it's not because of his friend, then what is the other reason? He then got a notification on his phone ignoring her, as it was the SOS. Street says he absolutely can't say it was a coincidence, as that's not how human relationships work. Surely he's not going to live for a year or two, and then return to the demon realm. Even he can tell that this kid is looking up to him like he's some kind of hero. Cyan then asks who Street is, and Lavis says that it's his subordinate, telling him her name. Cyan is surprised by him using the word subordinate, and then says that he has a question about the way he suddenly changed so unrealistically, and even the subordinate wearing strange clothes. He starts to get scared, saying that it's as he thought. Minho must have joined a bad organization, and he hoped he wouldn't get involved with bad people. Lavis realizes people will probably go after his subordinates in the future too, and tells Cyan he can't keep lying forever. It is just as he had thought, that he's the son of the great demon king who descended from the demon realm. Cyan kind of stares at him cluelessly, asking what he's talking about. Lavis says that's just how it is, since he already knows he'll have to help him with his work from now on. Cyan asks what the hell kind of nonsense that is. When he looks down at his lap he sees Street laying on him. Lavis tells Street to explain it to him, since he fought all day he's tired. Street then says that he needs to listen carefully. Cyan freaks out because she's a talking cat, to the point that he just straight up passes out. Meanwhile, back to Young Moo, as they put him into a van, one of the cops says that everything was burned, so they'll depart separately first. Young Moo says that he definitely could have killed him, and he knows it to be true. One of the cops notices somebody approaching them, telling them the area is restricted, but the person raises their hand, making him go to sleep. As he falls to the floor, it's none other than Barwer telling Young Moo that he looks so miserable. Youngmoo tells him that he'll kill that bastard himself, but Barwer says that they should go and talk. He stretches his hand out to take him away. Meanwhile, one of the cops is looking at the fire, and then down at the blue ribbon saying that they received a report that all of the dealers had been subdued. She wonders who did this. It's a drug that was even approved by the Ministry of Food and Safety, but for them to spread so fast, and have such crazy side effects, she can tell it's bad. The cop from earlier starts complaining about his head, and she runs over asking him if he's okay. The detective says that she needs to check the car first. When she looks inside, she asks where that bastard went. Elsewhere, Barwer has taken him to an abandoned building in the woods. Youngmoo tells him that he just needs one more chance. If he gives him more drugs, and he takes them, he can definitely kill that bastard. But Barwer asks if he knows how valuable the flowers he lost are. This is where he's actually growing them, as he has them feeding on corpses nearby. Barwer says that he went through so much trouble to gather all of these humans, and this is why he should never trust worthless humans. Youngmoo is still desperately trying to get one more chance, saying that he'll kill that bastard himself. Barwer turns frustrated, and stabs him in the eye with a gnawing flower. Youngmoo starts screaming as he falls onto the floor. Barwer asks if he remembers the oath he swore to him. He needs to prove his final loyalty with those flowers of his. Youngmoo just screams on the floor, realizing he's cooked. Back to Jae-hee, she makes her way to the hideout saying that she needs to survive. And tells herself she just needs to grab the coin wallet, and run. She starts struggling trying to figure out where it is. The dude she was tattooing when we first saw her enters the room. He says he went to the office, but the police were there, and he just came here in case, and yet here she is. We see him holding a knife. She asks if he's crazy, and why he's causing trouble now. He tells her that she did this to his forehead, but he needs more blue ribbon. She wonders how much he ended up taking, and looks to her side spotting a weapon, and grabs it. She says she doesn't care where he came from, she'll deal with him, but she gets stabbed in the side. She falls onto the floor, and the dude keeps tweaking, asking for more blue ribbon. He starts screaming, and laughing about it. She looks down at the blade, and all the blood coming out, and starts crying, saying that she doesn't want to die like this. As she's looking up at the man, a purple orb appears, and it starts to grow more until we see Bamba saying that if this happens, Lavis would hate it even more. Jae-hee asks who he is, begging to be saved. He says he doesn't have the strength to do that. If she's destined to fall into hell, she should just accept it. She continues crying, asking what he's talking about. Bamba says that at least he'll let her body remain here. We get a flashback to the demon realm, and we see Lavis's mother welcoming her brother. She tells him that it seems he's been plotting something since sending Lavis to the human world. She's pissed that he's using her son. He asks if she really caught on, but tells her there's no need to worry as Lavis is all grown up now, and he wouldn't just send him off like that as he put the blood demon stone in his body. She starts to yell at him even more, asking if he's lost his mind, and if he's planning to announce to the entire world that the great demon king's son is alone in the human realm. He says that she should start trusting her own son a little. She says it's not that she doesn't, she's worried about how the world itself is moving. Even the smallest crack could cause everything to collapse. That's how unstable the world is right now. He tells her that Lavis is stronger than she thinks, as he takes after him, and his aggressiveness and combat power surpass anyone's. She hits him in the back of the head, saying that's exactly the problem. If even a single hair on Lavis's soul is harmed, they're both dead. He asks how old he needs to be for her to stop hitting him on the back of the head, and tells Bamba to search through every magic book, and find a way to get rid of all the older sisters in the world. She says that she never wanted a crazy younger brother like him in the first place. Bamba tries to calm the two of them down, but she starts choking the shit out of Barca. Bamba says it's a miracle that Lavis survived in an environment like this. Back to Lavis, we see Cyan shaking, asking if he's really a demon. Lavis says that's what humans call them. Street's just glad that he's including her in there. Cyan says now that he knows the truth, he wants to know if he'll go to hell when he dies. Lavis says that hell is right here, and if he comes with him to the demon realm, no one will be able to touch him, since the great demon king's one and only successor is his master. Cyan says he doesn't need to protect him because he doesn't want to go there. Lavis says he can't wait to go back, because he's going to rip out Bamba's eyeballs, and suck on them. Cyan then asks about the original Minnow. Street says that he was destined to die anyways. Officially only the bodies of people like that can be used as vessels. Cyan says that can't be asking why Minnow was destined to die. Lavis tells him not to be so gloomy, as they'll all meet in the demon realm in a few decades anyways. Cyan says that he guesses it's basically confirmed that he's going to go to hell. Lavis says humans sure have a uselessly vivid imagination, and the demon realm is actually a pretty fun place, asking Street what she thinks. She says that's right, and their home is filled with the scent of blood and screams. Cyan tells her to stop. Lavis says that he still has a long way to go before that, and not to worry, as he can just treat him the same as before. But he needs to make sure he never lets it slip. Cyan cries saying yes. Lavis says that his whole body hurts, so he's going to be leaving. Street says she'll go with him. Back at his house, he enters the house saying his head hurts, and he might have used too much of the Bloodstone's power. His sister greets him with a cake telling him happy birthday, and that she and Mom worked hard on this cake since yesterday, but she can't guarantee how it tastes. She puts a hat on his head saying that their parents will be home soon, and they can start with a birthday selfie. He looks down at her face seeing a band-aid asking what happened. She says that there were some guys bullying an old lady, and she stepped in, and it's nothing. He tells her that she did something unnecessary, and it's strange that she's helping others when she isn't even strong. She says that he must be hungry, telling him to eat a bite, and she shoves it into his mouth. Instantly he starts to develop a sweet tooth saying that it's straight gas. We then hear his dad screaming. He enters their house saying they need to figure out who threw eggs at him, and figure out where they live. Then he hits him in the face, saying he should just kill him first since he couldn't even do something as simple as that. The mother tries to calm him down, and he hits her telling her to let go of him. The sister screams saying that Mom didn't do anything wrong. The dad yells at her, and then spots the birthday cake saying that he got hit with eggs while campaigning, yet she's here eating a cake. He pushes her aside saying that she's something else, and if he were her real father he wouldn't even eat this shit to begin with. He throws it across the counter, and it lands on the cabinets. The mother starts crying begging him to stop, as today is Minno's birthday. He asks why they would be celebrating a birthday at a time like this anyways. Lavis glares at him. He stares back, then walks away annoyed, and slams the door. Lavis looks over at the cake, and gets pissed asking if he's really touching what's his. His sister and mother start comforting one another, but Lavis is still just pissed saying that he's a super arrogant human. Sometime later at his dad's workplace. He's complaining about Young Moo saying that he cut off all contact, and hasn't even been sending them money anymore, and he wants to know where that bastard is hiding. Since if they want even a single photo with Assemblyman Park, they need to shove in an advance payment first, and it's all because of that bastard Young Moo. His man says that he'll do the utmost to find him. He's still just complaining, saying it pisses him off enough that they have to grovel to a bastard like that just to raise approval ratings, and every one of these assholes is acting like trash. A man bursts into the room telling him that a video of Mina is going viral on the internet. He asks what the video is, and tells him to take a look. It shows when she was stepping up to the bullies for the old lady. Mina barks at them asking why they're even bullying an old lady to begin with. As they keep arguing, one of them hits her in the face. Her father's expression doesn't even change. As Mina starts comforting the old lady, he asks if something like this really happened to his daughter. They say that if they reveal that it is his daughter, it will be a great help for his approval ratings. He starts to laugh, and smiles, saying this might actually make for a good picture. Sometime later, we hear some people talking about how such a beautiful face could have been hidden. They call for two people. One named Han Young, and the other is named Han Soo. They ask her what's up, and she says that it's mother's new vessel. As we see Mina on the screen, Han Young says how pretty it is, but Han Soo doesn't seem impressed. She stares at it. The mother asks if she doesn't like it. Han Soo says not really. The mother asks if she's jealous. As the child has the face she bought, so she'll become her new body. As the human body ages too quickly, the wrinkles make her ugly. But to discover such a perfect new vessel, this is fate. Han Soo still doesn't seem impressed. Han Young says it's such a pretty doll, and he wonders what sound it will make when it breaks. Back to the dad. He sees a YouTube video talking about how it's actually the daughter of the mayoral candidate. A lot of people are leaving good comments, and his underling says that her video is also going to air on the 9 o'clock news. The dad says that's excellent, and to think that the kid who used to spout nonsense turned out to be such a blessing. He's going to need to pay more attention to the family from now on. He tells her underling they'll make her even more of an issue with good deeds and volunteer work, and they can schedule anything under her name. He says yes sir, and then tells her that the CEO of Nox Entertainment, Young Ju, has contacted them. He asks why Nox is interested, and the dude says that they saw Mina's video, and she said she was interested. He starts to laugh at this, saying that his daughter really is a treasure. On the way home from school, Cyan says that he had no idea that Minno's stepdad is a mayoral candidate. Lavis then asks how much he knows about Minno's family, and Cyan says that he never talked about it directly, and he just knows that he got along well with his sister, and he really cherishes her. Lavis says that his uncle always said to cherish those necessary for his power, and that included both his uncle and Bamba, and he thought that shit was annoying. He then thinks about it, and looks down asking Street what she thinks she's doing, and why she's stuck. As we see her stuck again, she says that she ate too much these past few days. She then shows him a letter, and he asks if that's what Bamba left, and she says it is. Bamba tells him he did great, and that he sent him a gift so he can do his best with it. Of course, Lavis rips the letter up, saying that he's going to tear that bastard apart before his uncle, and Street tells him to calm down. Cyan is looking at his phone, saying at this rate his father might really get elected mayor, and public opinion is extremely favorable right now. Lavis says that kind of human ruling over a whole city doesn't sit well with him. Cyan says rather than ruling, it's more like managing. Lavis says that he's greedy just like a Cenarius, and tells Street that he's curious if Tasik, who is his dad, could be a Cenarius who came to the human realm. Cyan asks what a Cenarius is, and Street explains that Cenarius are a gluttonous demon of the underworld, and it eats and eats endlessly, even other demons hate them. But she manages this district, and she knows Tasik is a human. Street says it's suspicious for a human like that to become a ruler, and shows the human world is rotten too. Anyways, he needs her to eat in moderation, or else she'll become a Cenarius herself. She cries saying yes, and Cyan says that it seems like his dad is intent on exploiting Mina, which doesn't sit well with him. Lavis heads back home, overhearing people talking in the living room that he doesn't recognize, and we see none other than Young Ju and her kids, and she's saying that Mina's looks are outstanding, and she just learned the dance, she could debut quickly. His mother says that she's still just a student, and she doesn't even want to be an entertainer. Tasik tells her not to say things like that in front of the CEO, because a child born with talent shouldn't be hiding it, as that's wrong. He then apologizes to Young Ju, saying his wife is just a little reserved. Young Ju tells her not to worry, as at Knox they'll make sure she can balance school and activities, as idols these days are different. He then spots Han Young licking his lips. Lavis says this guy is a freak. Tasik then asks if they just need to sign this contract, and Young Ju says yes, it's a contract that will shine on both Mina and his future. Of course, Mina doesn't seem happy about it, and Young Ju says that he must be her brother, and it's nice to meet him, and introduces herself. He gives her a little nod, and Tasik asks if he's not going to greet her properly. Young Ju though tells him it's fine, as kids are all like that these days. Lavis recalls Cyan saying how much Minho cherished Mina, and we get a flashback to his uncle telling him he's always on his side. Lavis gets freaked out wondering what's wrong with him, and his uncle tells him to listen carefully. The world is full of hostile forces aiming for the ruler's power, but he is the heir who must inherit his father's throne as ruler of this world. With such heavy responsibility, he must embrace his own faction. Lavis says he can live fine with just his own strength though, and his uncle laughs saying that for now that's the case, but one day he'll meet people his heart is drawn to without even realizing it, and then he'll start to change without knowing it himself. Of course Lavis didn't think he would, and says that he just wants to get back to training, and his uncle laughs as they continue doing so. Back to the present, he puts his hand on Mina's shoulder asking if there's something she really wants to do. She looks up at him, because it's obviously not, and he tells her that if she's being forced to just say so, as he'll get her out of this. She obviously doesn't want to, but she recalls Tasik hitting her mother, calling her ungrateful, and tells her that even if she wanted to she couldn't leave because both of her children are on his family registry. She begs that he let them go, but he reminds her of how poor she is without him. Even Mina says that grandpa gave them stuff, so it's not his. Tasik says that she's just like her bitch mother, and they're both naive, and if she wants to know the real key to surviving they need to stay here because once he grabs something it's his forever, and that it's something she needs to engrave into her brain. After recalling this she says that this is her choice, and that she'll do it, but on the condition that if she makes money it is put into her name as she plans to rescue both her mother and brother from that monster. Tasik tells her that's a given, and laughs awkwardly saying that her hard work is hers alone. Young Ju agrees saying that they can sign the contract now, and Tasik tells her to look after his daughter because she's dearer to him than life itself. But the only parent actually worried is her mother, asking if she's certain about this, and Mina tells her to trust her this once. She also thanks Lavis for his concern, and he kind of stares at her. But later we see Young Ju in the car with Han Young, and she says the more she looks at her the more perfect she is, and she can't wait for her new vessel. Her eyes are so pure, which is something you don't see that often. Han Young then says that her brother seemed off. Young Ju asks Han Su what she thinks, and she says that she sensed something special for him, and he's not human, which she's certain of. Young Ju says that if she says so, then suggests he could be a demon realm tracker then. Han Young then asks if she wants him to handle it, and she says not yet because if they act rash it could make it worse, and for now they just need to watch as Mina is their number one priority. Bro starts throwing a fit because she told him no, and she tells him to have patience as the no moon night is almost here, and once they do the ritual and make Mina hers he can do whatever he wants to her brother. He asks if that's a promise, and she says that it is. Han-soo then calls her Mara, and it seems to trigger her as she tells her to never speak the name again as right now she's Young-ju, and she'll be reborn as Mina soon. And not even the Demon King or the 12 Black Seats could stop her at this point, as she's not going to fail. Sometime later Mina heads to Nox Entertainment, and tells herself that she can do this. As she walks in, Young-ju introduces her to everybody, saying that they've probably already seen her on TV, and she will be the center for their new entertainment group called Zara. One of the other girls says that for her to decide this so suddenly it doesn't make sense as she's been training as center this whole time. Young-ju tells her that she's done great so far, and now she should just support her from the sidelines. She then leaves telling Mina to make it work, and closes the door. The girl who was center originally, Hyun, starts barking at her saying that she's only here because of her dad. It must be nice coasting on connections, and that she's been training for this spot for 4 years, and she must have asked for it specifically in the contract. Mina tells her that she didn't, and Hyun slaps her across the face saying that she would like to see how far her daddy's backup can get her. Mina stares at her, and we see that she actually cut her cheek from the slap, and back in Young-ju's office Han Young says that when his mom sees this she's going to lose her mind. When she does enter, he then points at the TV telling her to take a look, and she asks what's wrong, and he tells her that he clawed Mina's face. She sees her holding her cheek, and she starts to get pissed asking how dare she scar her precious vessel. Meanwhile Lavis, Street, and Cyan are chatting, and Street says that Nox is really famous, and that she could dominate the human world if she nails it. Cyan says that it seems like Street knows everything, and she says she's lived here for over 200 years. Lavis tells them that if that's his little sister's, well, it's none of his business, but the president lady and her kids gave him a weird vibe. There was no demonic aura, but they didn't flinch at his gaze, and they could be demons hiding in the human world. Street says that long-term human world demons hide their aura like it's nothing, and it's better to be safe than sorry. She warns him to not do anything to stand out, and Cyan tells him that glare of his is a little much, and Lavis says that he finds them too suspicious. Even without his aura he'd spot a demon. Cyan shoots a stray comment saying that he couldn't even find Barwar. And Lavis tells Street to drag him to the demon realm now as they're going to take him to boot camp. Cyan tells him to stop threatening him as he knows not just anyone can go there. Lavis says it's because he can't wield the demon bloodstone right, and even the dogs are ignoring him. He asks Street if she has figured out how to reclaim the power of it. She says that she has, and he tells her this is good because he'll reclaim his power, and orders her to scout Young-ju and her children, and take servant number 1 with her, which of course is Cyan. It takes us to Hyun walking back home, and she starts crying saying this can't be happening after 4 years of prep, this is how it ends for her. She then hears a sound of metal grating across concrete, and turns around asking who's there, only to see Han-soo holding 2 machetes walking at her. Hyun asks if she did something wrong, and says that if it's about Mina she's sorry she just lost it for a second. Han-soo then stabs the machete into her face, and completely rips half of her skull off, painting the wall behind her with blood, and Han-soo asks why she had to hit her face as her mom hates that shit. That went from 0 to 100 real quick. We finally get some more backstory on Young-ju. We see her with her husband, and he says that she shouldn't be out here as he was bringing home some chicken for her, and the twins. She tells him that the twins couldn't just wait at home for him, and he calls her adorable asking if it's really the twins who want it, or her. He laughs, and we see a demon crawling out of the sewer, and this must be the one that has inhabited Young-ju's body. At night while she was sleeping she was having some night terrors, and when she woke up she opened her eyes seeing the demon staring over her saying how much she liked her. Young-ju screams asking who she is, and the demon shoves her hand into her mouth telling her to shut up, and she'll crush them all. She starts to consume her body saying not to worry about the kids as she'll raise them, that she's in need of a child anyways. The original Young-ju screamed, and cried, but alas it did not matter as the demon had completely taken over her body. We even see her eyes change signifying that. Her husband woke up asking what that sound was, and instantly realized that she was not okay. The door to their balcony is slid open, and we see her holding him by the throat with one hand asking if he's really the husband as he looks so low class. She doesn't plan to live with a guy like this. He asks who the hell she is with tears in his eyes, and she asks why he even cares, and she throws him out. He screams her name before we hear a loud thud as his final thoughts are spread onto the concrete. Young-ju holds onto her belly, and starts laughing saying this body belongs to her now. Later, In the delivery room, when it was time to give birth to the twins, she starts kicking the nurses, and they tell her to calm down. She tells them to shut the hell up, and get these filthy things out of her before she kills every last one of them, and it's all because of that bitch Aeneas. Of course she is talking about Lavis's mother. The nurses ask what's wrong, as the children both have red eyes, and they say this can't be. Sometime later, back at her house, now that she's out of the hospital, she says that she feels so sluggish, and it must be because she gave birth. She's tired of looking at her belly fat as well, and she doesn't know if it'll ever go away. Han Young and Han Soo looked up at her, and she puts her foot in their faces, saying that if they've taken her magic power, they should pay her back for it. They need to stop crawling around like this, as they need to grow up and protect her until she can find a vessel that can fully hold her spirit. Sometime later, we hear some people saying that they know she's in shock because her husband took his own life, but this is still too much. As she went out with her friends one day, and they say this is not the young Jew they remember. The other friend brings up the kids, and apparently she won't show them to anyone, and she's barely even at home. They talk about how happy she was when she finally got pregnant after all that trouble, but now look at her as she's trying to seduce a man, telling him that she knows he works in broadcasting, so he must know plenty of pretty and handsome kids. She is in the files for sure, as she's blowing demonic energy into him. He starts to get hypnotized, and falls straight onto her shoulder. Young Ju says that there is no shortage of young and beautiful things even in this human hell. Until she can get her revenge on Aeneas, she'll make them all hers. Until the day she kills her with her own hands. Back to the present, we see her crying crocodile tears, saying that Hien was a girl slated to be the center of their group. She was more talented and more loved than anyone else. The detective asks if the victim has any known grudges with her colleagues, or if she was being stalked by someone. Young Ju goes to explain it, and begins coughing. The detective asks if she's okay. Of course she's just playing innocent, until Han Young speaks up, saying that it's best to stop here today, as the CEO thought of her like a daughter. Han Soo agrees, saying that they should go meet the other trainees. This is also the cop pair from Young Moo's case. The detective says he understands, and tells the other detective, Sung Hoon, that it's time to go. She agrees, but when she looks back she can't help but feel suspicious. After they finally leave, what we see happen is Young Ju is trying to stop herself from vomiting, as when she does it's nothing but bugs that fly out of her mouth. As they are now all over the floor, she says it's because of that damn detective scouring in like a rat on the hunt. She's funneled so much money to the top brass, and makes her wonder what the hell they're even doing. Han Young says he'll stop eventually. But she says her body is rotting away, as she's literally dying of impatience. It's all because that bitch Hien put a flaw in her vessel. He begins comforting her, asking if she's anxious, and if so then he'll have Mina's body ready soon. She tells him to hurry up and start. Later, when Mina and the group are there, they say surely they've heard the news about Hien. Some crazy bastard, or maybe some crazy bitch did it, and there are too many psychos in this world, since attacking a high school girl with a weapon like that in the middle of the street is wild. He says he's worried about their safety, and to settle the restless atmosphere they'll be starting dormitory life tomorrow, so they should get ready and come to work. Mina asks if dorms are necessary, and Han Young says that he would like to know if there's a reason she can't do it. And surely, as she knows, idle dorms are a standard rule because they have to become one with the body. She's worried about her brother and mother, and Han Soo says that she seems to have a lot of demands, and if she really can't do it she'll just get rid of her. But Han Young calms her down, telling her that this is too far. The moment she puts a scratch on that girl's face, Young Ju will kill her. He laughs it off, saying that surely they understand that she just really cared for her. She's ultra sensitive right now, so they shouldn't make the scary sister angry anymore. Also, the CEO will explain everything to their parents so that they should go back home to pack their bags and meet here tomorrow. Mina says that she's already anxious because even her brother has changed lately. Meanwhile, we hear Cyan grunting as him and Lavis are working out. Lavis says he can't believe that he's calling that training. He says while he's growing stronger he might be able to suppress humans who use demonic energy, but if he encounters a demonic beast in this state he'll struggle a bit. It's all because of that bastard Bamba. If he was going to use him he should have at least taught him how to control the demon bloodstone to begin with. We get a flashback to some time ago, as Bamba was writing him the letter. He says that he should include the method to control the bloodstone in it, and he's only giving it to him because he's weak. He says first if he wants to know how to control it. Originally the demon bloodstone is used to suppress the magic power of prisoners, but it contains the demonic power that was sealed within their lingering soul. He modified Lavis's to directly link the magic power held within his spirit to his human body. And that power will only be fully released once it is broken, and his eye has to get smashed for it to open. The second gift he sent was that child to him, and he's sorry, but he'll leave them in his care. He also says that he loves him. Now he just has to deliver the letter, and hopefully he can read it well. But of course he fucking ripped it up. Coincidentally, Lavis begins to wonder if maybe the method to control it was actually written down the entire time. Street runs in saying that something terrible has happened, and Lavis is just surprised she's running on 2 legs asking what it is. She says that it's about the twins that he asked about. Lavis asks what's the big deal, and she says it's also the CEO as she turned out to be Mara. Cyan asks who that is, and Street says that it's the Witch of Greed, one of the 12 black seats. It seems that Mara Villiers has snatched her human body, and is living here. Lavis laughs, and says that he didn't expect that woman to be hiding here. We get a flashback to a banquet in the demon realm. The women are all glazing up Aeneas, asking how she's so damn pretty, and comment on her lips. She tells them if they want lips as pretty as hers, she needs to learn how to hold the truth within them. They keep glazing her, and one of the women says since she's also only spoke the truth she'll probably become beautiful too. The Chungus one says that she is having her daughter learn the art of rhetoric, so she can resemble Aeneas even a little. Because she wants to teach her child that words themselves are both a weapon and dignity. Aeneas says that she shall grant the blessing of the silver tongue to her daughter then. Of course Mara was there too watching all of this, and said that is just nonsense. A girl then tries to glaze her, and Mara out of just annoyance tells her she'll grant her daughter a blessing, and she wants her to struggle and die. The girl looks shocked to hear this. Mara though is seething, saying she will not let this shit slide. Back to the present, Street asks Lavis if Mara has always had an inferiority complex against Aeneas. Lavis says that apparently she's been like that since childhood. Of course his mom ignored it. Right after ascending to the 12 dark seats, she was caught stealing from the spring of demon souls, then fled here. Cyan asks why she approached Mina then. Lavis says that it definitely has nothing to do with him. If it did she'd not have left him alone. But he is certain that, in his current state he is no match for that woman, and her underlings aren't ordinary either. Street says that means they need to strengthen the power of the Bloodstone, and she'll prepare it right away. It is time for them to do the witch hunting prep. Out in town, we see his mother and sister at the grocery store. Their mother tells Mina if she wants to quit to tell her, as ever since she's joined it seems to be going badly, and it's making her anxious. Minute Ha says it's okay, as Han Young said they'll catch the culprit soon, and it must have been a random murderer. Her mother then asks about her dream to be a veterinarian. Mina looks over spotting some dog food, then says to achieve that would take too long. Since she wants to get her family out of this hellish house ASAP. With her own power, she fake laughs telling her mom that dreams can change, and this is an opportunity she doesn't want to miss. As she'll get famous and earn a lot of money, her mother though says if she lives in the dorm she can't see her face often. Mina says that Tasik will surely quiet down once the election is over. Her mother apologizes again, saying if only she hadn't remarried. Mina tells her not to say that, she had it hard enough raising the two of them at such a young age, and dad dying wasn't her fault. And before the marriage he treated them so well, deceiving them all. Her mother feels horrible about it still, but Mina reassures her, saying she'll work hard. Meanwhile, Lavis and the rest are at an amusement park. Lavis calls humans pathetic asking what's so scary and I think bro just yacked. Cyan says he wonders if it's because he's a demon but he relieved himself so comfortably. Lavis says it was just indigestion and he ate something bad. Cyan tells him to wipe his mouth before lying. Lavis says he is never riding that thing again. They get to a haunted house, and Lavis asks if this is the right place. She says that she's certain that there's a demon that has been imprisoned in the human world, but recently slipped out of surveillance. With her instinct she tracked it down. He asks what the demon's name is. She says that it's Scream. It has the ability to convert people's screams into demonic power. It transforms the sound waves born from fear into demon realm frequencies, and injects the power into itself so luring it with someone who screams well would be effective. He says it looks like Cyan is actually going to be useful for once. Cyan says that he's a man who knows no fear. He's never even screamed once. Lavis then drags him inside, and Street says that she'll guard the entrance. Once they enter the haunted house, Lavis asks why people are afraid of things like this as it's just decoration. Cyan tells him that he feels a really strange presence as there's something really here. Lavis says that that's the entire reason they're here, and tells him to stop overreacting. They then get jump scared, and he and Cyan start tweaking. Lavis screams since he was scared too. Cyan says that just now he swore he got scared. Lavis says that he was pretending to be startled to see if the enemy would react, and asks if that was the first scream in his life. Cyan tells him that it was. In the shadows the demon is actually watching them. Cyan asks if this is surely the fastest way, and Lavis says that it is. Every time it reacts to evil in the human world, the demon bloodstone power is released a little more. So if he can absorb the evil of demons, which is far stronger than humans, he can release even more of the power that's hidden. Scream appears, saying that scream of his just now was sweet. It's like a baby's first cry as it appears before them. It tells them to scream more over, and reaches out toward Cyan. He asks if this is the demon. Lavis puts his hand on Scream, telling him not to touch him as he is his attendant. Scream realizes that he's not a human, and Lavis calls him by his name, saying that he wants to hear the kind of scream that he makes instead. Scream hits him, asking what someone like him could possibly do. As Lavis gets sent flying, Cyan screams out for him, and Scream says that's exactly what he wanted. Lavis says that only his left hand is usable right now, and he runs straight in toward Scream. Scream asks where the hell he thinks he's going, and shouts at him, and just the sound knocks him down onto the floor. Cyan screams out again, and Scream keeps sucking that shit off. Lavis tells him to shut the hell up as he's only making him stronger. Cyan apologizes, and Scream says that he loves those eyes filled with terror, and he should make some earrings out of him, and wear them. He punches down toward Lavis, but Lavis sidesteps the attack, and rears back his fist, and leaps at him, asking who he thinks is terrified. He swings, but Scream evades, saying that he's struggling because his arms are short, and he starts laughing, calling him adorable. Lavis says his speed can't even surpass human levels, and he can't handle a demon of this level in his current body. Scream grabs onto him, and Cyan goes to scream once more, and looks pained as Lavis is now being squeezed. Scream raises his finger, and coats it in aura, saying that this is made out of his friend's screams, and he wonders what kind of delicious scream will come out when he gouges out his eyes with this. Lavis calls him a lowly demon, saying he refuses to scream, and Scream says they'll put that to the test as he thrusts toward his eyes. Right as it gets to the bloodstone, it pierces through his head. Cyan looks horrified. The bloodstone fragments begin to fall out of his eye, and Scream is confused. Even Lavis is, and he starts to laugh, saying that his vision has finally fully cleared up. Of course, it was written in the letter that he didn't bother to read about how it only fully unlocked his power once it was shattered. Lavis says that Bastard Bamba hid some unlocking conditions that he didn't know about, and starts to coat his hand in aura. Scream looks horrified, asking why his blade couldn't gouge out a human's eye. Lavis says that's because he's no mere human, and he swings, cutting across Scream's hands, causing him to drop him. Lavis then yells, telling Cyan to keep screaming, and he's confused, saying that'll make him stronger though, but Lavis tells him to just do it. Cyan says he doesn't know what he's thinking, but he has no choice but to trust him. He takes in a deep breath, and screams as loud as he possibly can, and Scream starts to tweak like when you give the homeless man money for his addiction. Lavis says that the seal on his right leg is being released with the opening of the bloodstone. As Cyan continues screaming, Scream tells him that he can't believe he's giving him more power, and that his arrogance will be his downfall. Lavis says that his movements get sluggish the moment he consumes a scream, and Scream looks surprised. Lavis says now he wants to hear it, and of course he's talking about his own scream as he leaps straight at him, and punches him directly in the eye. Scream begins screaming as loud as he can. Lavis says he can clearly feel it now that the shell of the bloodstone is fully broken, and if he continues to absorb the evil of these demons, his power will return in no time. As he's completely ripped off both of Scream's arms, his screams become blood-curdling, and Lavis says that his power is going to return very quickly at this rate. As his flames begin to burn away at Scream until nothing is left, we see him turning into a goo that floats into Lavis's eyes. He says as expected the power accumulated here is incomparable to human evil, as his arm and hand are now fully coated in his aura. Now that the bloodstone is unlocked, he needs to keep absorbing evil until he regains his original strength. Cyan says it looked like the demon was absorbed by him, but he doesn't know if he's okay. Lavis says of course he is. Now it's time to go eat the next demon. At Nox Entertainment, Mina is shown to her dorm, and Han-Soo nods, telling her to unpack her things, and she's forbidden from going out until practice starts. Mina looks anxious, and says okay. As Han-Soo closes the door, she resolves herself, but we see her shaking, and she tells herself that she can do this. They actually have a camera planted in her room, and Young-Ju is clawing at the monitor with her rotting hands, and she tells Han-Young she's so excited, then asks if he will still listen to her once she swaps to that one. He tells her of course, and he'll begin right now. Back to Lavis. When he exits the haunted house, Street smells him, saying that his scent has changed, and she congratulates him on getting his magic power back. She bows, and starts glazing him, and he tells her to stop. He just wants the location of the next target. He also tells her to go track down Mara, so he can go eliminate her the moment he regains his strength. She says yes sir, and it jumps to a man smoking a cigarette. We see a demon that is feeding on the smoke itself. Lavis grabs it by the back of the head, telling it to follow him. He absorbs it as it flies into his eye. But he and Cyan are getting overwhelmed by the stench of cigarette breath. They go to the next demon, which is one that absorbs the vitality of drunk humans. This one reeks too. Cyan asks why there are so many demons in the human realm, but also why they have to feed on humans to survive. Lavis explains that demons that flee to the human realm lose their magical power when crossing the barrier, so they have to find a substitute to survive, otherwise they'll cease to exist. Cyan says he sees, and he guesses being possessed by a ghost isn't just superstition after all. Lavis says that he thinks he has enough, and now it's time to test it out. Cyan looks surprised, asking what that is. Lavis says he's finally regained it, as we see him summon a sword that he calls Damrakal. He says although he can't summon its complete form yet, it's still pretty nice to have it back. Cyan then says that he doesn't know if it's dangerous or not to send Street by herself. Lavis tells him not to worry, as her aura is the size of a rat dropping, so they definitely won't even notice her. She's in the form of a bat right now, complaining about how hungry she is, and at this rate she's going to starve to death. She then spots something, and flies straight toward it, and grabs onto it, as it's one of Mara's bugs. She goes to eat it, and recognizes what it means, then she realizes it has Mara's mana in it. She understands it's a bad sign, and flies away. From the parking garage, a car comes up, and we see that they have Mina now. Han Young asks if he did a good job by knocking her out, and Young Ju says that he did, and it's time to do this quickly. He says he can't wait, but it also looks like Mina might wake up soon. Meanwhile, Street is yapping, but it's all muffled because of the grub, and Lavis tells her to spit it out before she says anything, as he can't understand her. She tells him to take a look at this, and he asks what it is, as it stinks. She tells him it's one of Mara's parasites. And it seems she lost her form of crossing the barrier, and possessed a human body. Lavis says that if parasites are coming out of her body, it means that she needs a new one. Since her demonic soul can't last long, it would need to be soon. Cyan asks if that casting offer last time was them targeting Mina's body, and Lavis says that makes sense. Young Ju has always been obsessed with youth and beauty. Even though she's way older than his mother, that hag should just act her age instead of going crazy. Cyan is confused, asking how old his mom is, and Lavis says in human years she'd be around 6,400 plus. Cyan is surprised, and asks Lavis how old he is, and he says that he'll need a minute to think about it. When his uncle last showed him the human realm when he was little, the humans were building something back then. Of course, we see it's the pyramids, and his uncle Barca says that it's a temple the humans are building for him. It's something that a lowly demon god like his nephew could never covet. As he continues teasing him, Lavis asks what's so great about it. But Bamba tells Barca as far as he knows those humans aren't worshipping him, but they're worshipping Ra of the celestial realm. When Barca asks why the hell they'd be worshipping the guy he bodied, and Bamba asks how he's meant to know. Barca laughs it off saying that he won, so it's his, technically. Cyan then tells him that the pyramids were built over 4,000 years ago, and he's way older than he imagined. Street tells him to get back to the point. His younger sister might get devoured by Young Ju at this rate. He then realizes that's not a good thing. Young Ju and the rest go to the same building that the gnawing flower was at, and as they exit the car Young Ju starts rambling random sentences, but her kids ask if this is the right place. She says yes, the demon realm, and the human realm, and the rift hidden from the eyes of the celestial realm, should be a part here, but when they enter the building she's surprised, asking what he's doing here, and of course we already know that Barwer owns this for his gnawing flower facility, and he asks who the hell they are. She introduces herself as Mara, and she tells him she's claimed this already, and he recognizes her. Barwer says she used to be a part of the 12 seats, but now she's just a fugitive who can't even use proper magic, and this place is his, so get out. Han Young asks what's the deal with all these corpses, and Barwer tells him to watch the flowers. Mara then says that right now she's nothing, and she's barely maintaining a human body which is exhausting, so she prepared thoroughly as her children here will protect her. Barwer says that they're hybrids, and instead of protecting their children the parent looks ridiculous now for having the children protecting them. She asks why it matters since she let them be born they should fulfill their duty as children, and that he should take his smelly weeds, and get out of here. He gets really angry saying that there is sacred flowers, and charges at her asking why nobody recognizes him. Han Young leaps forward, and knees him straight in the face asking what his deal is. Mara laughs seeing that he's doing a perfect job. We get a flashback to her saying that this is a waste of her demonic soul spring, and that it was really hard to steal this, as she's force-feeding both of them when they were children, and they're trying to spit it up, but she yells telling them to swallow it. She explains that the demonic soul spring is a spring located in the deepest valley of the demon world called Zar Naim. It is a place filled with a tear shed by the God who created the world, and the spring is the source of magic power, the only holy water that can satisfy her greed. It's all because of that bastard Gamadair that she had a hard time getting it because he monopolizes it, and it's a waste, but it can't be helped as her children need to drink this, and protect her until they find Circle. Back to Lavis, Cyan, and Street. They're running through the woods, and Street says that Mara's stench is getting closer, and it's definitely in this place. Cyan asks why there's a building like this here, and Street unshapeshifts saying that now her nose is useless. Cyan tells Lavis that he needs to save Mina no matter what. Lavis says okay, and it's time to head in. Cyan asks if he has to go too as he'll be a burden. Lavis says that he'll make a decent shield, and Cyan freaks out. Street tells Lavis to defeat Mara, and cheers him on, and he says that she's coming too since they need numbers. She says that she should have just stayed under Lord Bamba to begin with. Meanwhile they put Mina down on a magic circle, and Mara says it's time for them to start. Barwer begs her for mercy saying that if she wants to stay in the human world she'll need him. Han Young tells his mom that he wants this one as there are already so many annoying things, and he can make him handle the small stuff. Barwer agrees saying that he'll be a great house slave. Lavis says that birds of a feather all flock together, and it seems that's a true saying. There's a drug addict who betrayed his family, and a runaway driven out by greed, as well as hybrid twins, and all four of them suit each other. Mara turns, and Han Young's surprised saying that Mina's brother is here. Cyan as well looks at all the corpses, and freaks out. Lavis spots young Mu saying he wondered where he was, but here he is. He tells Cyan if he didn't save him he'd be laying beside him, so surely he'll listen to him now. Cyan's freaked out saying that this is what the demon world must be like. Barwer says that if he knows young Mu then he must be the one who ruined his plan. Mara says she knew he wasn't just a human. Han Young says that his eyes are never wrong asking his mother if she knows who he is. Street then introduces him. The one who slaughtered the Hilt family, and fell to the human world. He's the noble, and precious son of the great demon king Gamadair. She starts to get pissed because he's Aeneas' son. Barwer gets pissed too since he's the one who butchered his family. Barwer says this is a chance. Right now he's not the massacre king Lavis, but he's just a prisoner trapped in a human body, and there is no better chance to avenge his family. Mara starts screaming about Aeneas saying that she can't believe she sent her son here to interfere. Lavis says fighting all three at this strength is impossible, but that Hilt guy is a coward so he might just be able to get him to dip. He says that he'll save him for later telling him to get out. Barwer asks if he still thinks he's Lavis of the demon world, and he'll kill him with his own hands. Lavis yells telling him that if he doesn't want to die to get the hell out of here, and Barwer gets scared. Lavis says that he should also tell the other demons in the human world that he has descended as the Lord of Blood, and if they don't want to get caught or killed to behave until he leaves. Barwer's terrified that he can use magic in his body, and runs straight toward the window asking how, but realizes he doesn't want the smoke, and leaps out of the 5th floor. Lavis calls Mara an old lady, saying that if she wants to be young she needs to endure pain that shaves off bone and flesh, and she shouldn't just steal someone else's body so easily. She asks who he's calling an old woman, and says he needs to treat his elders with more respect. She then begins vomiting blood, and Han Young tells her not to overdo it. She says she's getting curious now about the child Aeneas cherishes so dearly, and if her children tear him apart what face she'll make. Lavis says he's curious too if the child of the woman she envied all her life kills one of her children what face she'll be making instead. Mara tells both of her children to get ready, asking who is up first, and Han Young summons a ball and chain telling his mother he'll handle him first and just wait, and Han Su summons her blades as well. Han Young tells his sister to stay out of this, since his weapon is enough to stop him. He throws it forward, and Lavis pushes Cyan to the side, and pulls Street away as well while dodging the attack. Han Su closes the gap, and he blocks her swing as well, and she tells her brother to stay away. He then goes to swing, but says that she's blocking him right now, and she tells him to watch her back. Lavis says that their teamwork is non-existent, and he'll use this to his advantage. He says that before they kill him it looks like they're going to tear each other apart first. His sister almost hits him, and Han Su starts tweaking. Lavis says that since they are interfering with each other's attacks he needs to turn them on each other because while one is overly confident, the other is cynical, and it's perfect to drive a wedge between them. This time he doesn't deflect her blade, and forcibly blocks it, and redirects it backwards. It comes into contact with her brother's ball, and he starts to get pissed, but so does she, and while she's distracted he cuts her across the stomach. Of course his blade begins absorbing her blood, and he says that for them being hybrids they sure have a lot of demonic energy, and he wonders what exactly she fed them. Han Young says that he's going to take this chance, and he throws his ball forward, and it cuts across Lavis's stomach. Han Soo says that she's pretty sure she'll be the one to finish him, and this time she gets a hit, and she slices 2 times across his chest, but she's surprised that he didn't actually die from that as he dodged at the last second. Han Soo runs in telling him that he almost died, and he needs to watch out because he has to be the one to kill him. He swings, and Lavis evades to the side, and then Han Soo leaps at him with both of her blades. He manages to block it, but it causes him to kneel, and she tells him to die over and over. He finally creates some distance, but says he lacks the power to deal with both of them yet, and he should try provoking them. He tells Han Young that his big sister is actually pretty strong. Han Young gets pissed saying that he was born 18 minutes earlier than her, and starts flailing his ball around wildly. Lavis says that rage baiting is way too effective against this guy. Han Soo joins in as they're both trying to run him down, and she asks why he's rushing into close range when his weapon is meant to be used at range. He tells her to shut up as he's going to give him to Mother first. Lavis says that his attacks will get rougher, but this guy is now useless, and within his striking range as he closes the gap. We see that Street is not just here watching as she's fighting off Mara, saying that she's disappointed that she's become so hideous, all because she couldn't control her greed. Mara gets pissed that she called her ugly, saying that she's nothing but a low-ranked beast. Street begins struggling. As the attack grazes her stomach, she tells Cyan that he needs to hurry up. As he's running straight toward Mina, he starts to put his hands on the barrier, saying it's hot, rather it's cold, as his hands are burning from the cold instead. But she's right in front of him, and he can't just leave her here. Frustrated, he screams, telling her to open her eyes already. Street is still trying to hold off Mara, and she says that she's going to have to buy as much time as she can so he can save Mina. His hands hurt too much, so he takes them off the barrier, and looks down at them. He says there's nothing he can do since he's just a human. But he recalls the happy times he had with all 3 of them together, and resolves himself saying that he can't give up. He screams saying he'll save her, and starts hitting the barrier over and over. Street is getting more wounded as the fight continues. Mara says that she should stop playing this game, and Street says that for her to have this much power, even with a rotting body, it's just a difference in class between her and somebody that was formerly of the 12 black seats. Mara asks if she thought that she was weak just because she looks like this. The attack sends Street flying backwards into a pillar, and pins her against it. As she starts screaming in pain, Mara tells her to watch as she's going to rip apart that human. Street turns, telling Cyan to run away, and he looks over, and all we see is blood flying through the air. It turns out what she cut was her own arm off, as it pins Cyan to the floor. She says that she's going to use him as nourishment, and he tries to rip it off, but says he can't. She says she wasted too much time because of them, and she starts to chant the ritual so she can take Mina's body. Mina's eyes open widely, and Lavis realizes this is bad, and starts to pour more demonic energy into his sword. He needs to finish this fight now, or at least buy some time, and he attacks the 2 of them, causing them both to block it, and begins to turn and run. They both try to get him to stop, and Han Young says he'll go first, but a wire appears around his body, and starts to pull him away. He then gets tape on his mouth as he gets dragged around the corner. He sees Jae-hee saying that he shouldn't bully her dear Lavis like that. Meanwhile, Mara is vomiting into Mina's mouth like some 2 girls 1 cup shit. She starts to go into her body. Mina begins laughing as her eyes open. She says she's finally obtained the perfect vessel. Her old body falls to the floor, and she says that with such a fresh body, this is the feeling she's been looking for, and she's going to enjoy this beauty forever. Cyan screams, and so does Street, and Han Soo asks Lavis where he thinks he's looking. He says that he's too late. Jae-hee, who's obviously being taken over by Bamba, starts to talk about how beautiful Lavis is, even though he's getting wounded. Also, I don't know if Bamba is a guy or a girl, it's never actually mentioned, but Bamba freaky. Anyways, Jae-hee tells herself to get a grip as he's in danger right now, but if she steps in, Lavis will see, and it's too embarrassing. But they can't just keep watching this either. Han Young realizes this is his chance, and starts screaming, and Han Soo turns, wondering who did this to him. Lavis takes this moment of distraction, and starts to pressure her, and she gets annoyed. Mara looks over, spotting it, and asks Han Young what he's doing on the floor as she pulls the tape off his mouth. He says that someone popped up out of nowhere, and she says it looks like they have a rat hiding here. He asks her if she succeeded, and she says she did, asking if she's pretty. He says that she is, and she doesn't look anything like herself. Cyan asks if it's all over now, and Street says that there's still a chance since Mina's soul hasn't disappeared yet. Lavis is surprised, but Street tells him that it's the night of the moonless night, and on the night when the moon is hidden the boundary between the realms blurs, and that souls are the most unstable. Until the night is over the ritual cannot be called complete, and Mina's soul will still be remaining. Mara then gasps, and tells Minho that her body is moving on its own, and Lavis wonders if that's really Mina's soul, but of course it's just Mara messing with him saying that she knew he'd fall for it. He gets pissed as she's mocking him, and she says that she's so tired, so they should kill them all now. Han Young charges in saying that he'll do it for her, and Lavis says that he can't believe he's losing to a couple mere hybrids. Mara walks back over to Cyan and Street saying it's time to get some delicious energy, and Street looks worried, but Mara still is trying to decide who to eat first. She then spots an orb on the ground, and looks down wondering what it is. It pops out as a miniature Lavis, and starts to spew a red mist. But Lavis recognizes it. If you've watched till the end, comment, socks, to let me know. Huge shout out, and a special thanks to my Patreon and channel members. Subscribe for more videos like this, leave a like or a comment to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.